Hi everyone, welcome to sort of a special edition of the Nethercast, sort of a graveyard shift, sort of not. It's just me, Razor, and Temp this week, and we're going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid 5. So, I don't know, how do you want to kick it off?
I feel like approaching this game, there's really three questions you want to ask. First one is the game good? We can cover that, of course. The second question is the game disappointing? And the third question is, are the characters better or worse for this game existing? Those, I think, are the three big ones. And I guess the starting point is just the gameplay. Because we all agree the gameplay is good, right?
Yeah, I love the gameplay. I mean, it's, well, here's the thing. You can play this game Rushdown, which is very different for a Metal Gear.
And it's viable, too. Like, it works. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's almost like you adjust the difficulty based on your killing. Like, if you want to kill a lot, then the game's kind of like easy to medium difficulty. If you want to play it stealth-wise, then you set your own difficulty by doing that.
Yeah.
The game is as hard or as easy as you want it to be. You can save, kidnap, or kill pretty much anybody in the game.
Yeah, I find, like, if I'm having too much trouble with a mission, I brought a rocket launcher, so we do that now.
Yeah, I tried to use rockets on Quiet. That didn't work, but I tried it. And, not because the mission was hard, but because the second time they forced me to play that mission for no reason, it was hard. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not going to out-sniper this bitch.
Yeah, what is up with, like, after Mission 30, so many of them are repeats of ones you've already done with different difficulty? Those are supposed to be the story missions. You're making me repeat stuff?
I wish I had a nicer way of saying this game's not finished and it's bullshit, but there's no nice way of saying that.
Yeah, there's really not.
I just wish they were, like you said, not story missions.
Yeah, like you could have put that stuff under the like the side ops, but there's supposed to be like 46-ish missions. There's really only like 30. 35, I don't know, I haven't actually counted.
What drives me insane is that it's not that they're considered story missions. It's that the fact that they're considered story missions gives the illusion that you actually have to play this bullshit.
Yeah.
So, for a long time, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I am not nearly good enough at this game to beat this shit. I'm just going to do side ops. I'm just going to have fun. Whatever happens, happens. And eventually I unlocked the final mission. The final two missions, actually. Oh, yeah, there's one thing we need to get out of the way right now. Guys, spoilers. Lots of spoilers.
Yeah, we certainly can't talk about the story at all without spoiling the ending.
Exactly. There's so little story to talk about that literally every word is going to be charged with spoiling. There's no way around it.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the three categories you listed was, are the characters better for this game? And that's a hard argument to even make without revealing the most important thing about Venom Snake.
Yes, no, it could be arguably the only thing about Venom Snake that we really know for sure coming out of this game. There's very little concrete information about this Venom Snake.
Well, there is the timeline that, if you read it, scrolls over the screen after the last scene that reveals stuff about Metal Gear 1 and 2, the original NES games.
Exactly. Which is really... I kind of interpreted that as like, is that the whole reason this game exists?
I think so. Like,
Metal Gear 1?
It's entirely possible the only reason they made this game was to explain how Big Boss dies twice.
Was anyone bothered by that? Were people like, wait?
Yeah, I don't think anyone was, because he already came back from the dead at least one of those two times. Why couldn't it have been 2 out of 2?
I'm okay with Stingray robots and vampires, but wait, Big Boss died twice, excuse me, no.
That's where I draw the line, sir.
No, I mean, okay, let's start with a twist. I actually think that is a really good starting point. So, listeners, we're starting spoilers Now, skip to something else on the Nethercast channel if you don't want to
Yeah.
hear the spoilers. That's all we're talking about. Let's just start simple. Did you like the twist?
I actually don't dislike it. I I don't know that it was great writing. Like, I probably would have preferred it if, you know, Big Boss was Big Boss, I guess. But, it doesn't hurt anything for me, really. I mean, and there are some sort of clever moments that they get to play with in there, some sort of, almost Tyler Durden sort of things that happen throughout the game. Like, there's a moment, and here comes another spoiler, Liquid Snake appears in the game as a child. And there's a moment where Ocelot tests him to find out whether or not he is a clone of Boss, and the test comes back negative. And if you haven't seen the ending yet, you're like, oh, so this Eli guy isn't Liquid? And then it hits you after the end, oh, Venom doesn't have the same DNA as the real Big Boss. That's why the test was negative. So I don't know.
Yeah. Even before that, we knew that Liquid had only. Wait, let me flip that. I was going to say he only had the recessive genes. He only had the superior genes. I don't really know how the
Yeah,
that
that doesn't make much sense when Solid looks more like Boss than Liquid does. Like, your dominant genes are the ones that won when you were born.
It's a little deceptive. The blonde hair is a little deceptive, but I'm going to be honest with you. I actually really like the twist. I have problems with this game. The twist is not one of them, because for one reason, I feel like it enriches Metal Gear 1. It doesn't take anything away from it. It actually gives a lot of meaning, because this is its own character, and the character itself is kind of interesting, and probably what I like most about it is it resolves the biggest criticism I have with the game, which is Snake has no fucking personality and he never fucking talks. That is the biggest criticism I had with the whole game. So when I saw the twist, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. They weren't just cutting budget for Kiefer Sutherland's lines. It actually does make sense. That enriched the game. It didn't hurt it. If people wanted to play as Big Boss, I mean, yeah, that would have been cool to have a. And this is another thing where people are pissed. This was supposed to be the quote-unquote downfall of Big Boss, and when you find out it's not Big Boss, all that turned into a demon shit doesn't really mean anything anymore. Except it kind of does. I would semi-disagree with that, because...
I mean, you still have to consider that, Big Boss and Venom, in the end, they were kind of working together, or, like, Big Boss agreed with or supported all of the stuff Venom did. Like, he gave him his sanction to be that they're both Big Boss. And that plays into that timeline at the end where it's like Big Boss and Venom are sort of working together on the whole, the Outer Heaven and the Zanzibar Land stuff in Metal Gear 1 and 2.
There's also sort of a reverse theory. Actually, this comes from Jeremy Johns. He said that his theory is that there was eventually a rift between the Phantom and Big Boss, and eventually Big Boss, because of all the horrible, or the Phantom, because of all the horrible shit he went through, eventually did become demoniac in his moral nature. And Big Boss is like, okay, this guy's too fucked up now. We can't use him anymore. And he actually, the order to send Snake to kill Big Boss in Outer Heaven was actually legit. It wasn't just a dumbass move on the part of Big Boss.
I can see that. I mean, it could go either way, because if you go back to Metal Gear 1, they say that the reason Big Boss basically sent Solid to kill himself is because Solid was a rookie, and he didn't expect him to win.
Which is very smart if Snake is not a clone.
Yeah.
But Snake is a clone. So
yeah.
That's problematic.
And Liquid, for being a teenager, like a really early teens, like 12 to 14, I guess, almost kicks your ass. So that as an adult, yeah, the clones are better than Big Boss is.
Yeah, it's problematic on a lot of levels. So, I don't know. I think no matter which one you pick, it's not bad. I actually think it makes Metal Gear 1 a lot more interesting, to the point where I feel like the next logical step in the series is to make Metal Gear Solid 6 a two-part game of Outer Heaven and Zanzibar. That's where I thought they were going. You know, that's the direction I thought we were headed. With Hideo gone, I don't think they could. I don't think it'd be a problem to make that game. They don't really need him. We know what happened.
Yeah, at the same time, Konami's kind of out of the game business.
That's right, pachinko machines.
Yeah, pretty much. So, look forward to that Metal Gear 1 remake pachinko game. Please get excited.
Yeah, because I don't know, and that kind of brings me down to my sort of negative feelings about this game. This is it? No, even if you like the game, I don't know how anyone could not be upset that this is the last note of Metal Gear.
Yeah,
it had so many problems.
It's a shitty way to end.
It's a horrible way to end.
Not having an ending is a shitty way to end.
This should have been a fucking PSP game. This should not have been a fucking Metal Gear Solid 5. It's not bad. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things I like about it. But even the gameplay has problems. Like, no matter how good the gameplay is, you need an assortment of goals. There's really only 3 goals in this game. Rescue someone, kill someone, destroy something. It gets so monotonous. And they're like, oh, but it's an open world. Is it? Is it really an open world?
It's a whole lot of... It's very open. There's very little in it.
It's open in the sense that if you drop me in the middle of fucking Death Valley, it's an open world, but it doesn't mean anything.
And
there's no goals. There's no incentive to explore. There's no reward for searching or investigating.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the linear path, nothing in the open world has any fucking meaning.
And getting across the open world is such a pain in the ass. Like, even with D-Horse, it feels a little slow. Like, why couldn't they have made... Like, every time you get in the helicopter, it goes all the way back to the fucking helicopter's base menu. Why couldn't you just use it as fast travel?
And the whole helicopter fucking landing spots is bullshit. Because they dropped me off like 1,000 yards away from the fucking destination. And on the way to the destination... I saw maybe 100 flat areas with no guards around them. Like, why couldn't I land there? Why couldn't I land there? You know, and then I shoot a bear and I attach it to a balloon and launch it into outer space. So that's fun.
I love... Did you get the ones that make a wormhole?
No, I did not do that.
They make a fucking portal that zaps things straight to the base. It's like a big orange hole in space. It's literally called a wormhole Fulton. It's fucking 1984, and he has wormholes.
It's an incentive to play again, that's for sure.
And better armor than Solid would have 15 years later.
Yeah, this whole game is fucking backwards. It's like we can fucking repair human bodies with no lungs or no fucking bowels with a fucking parasite we made in a jar. So let's talk about it on this cassette tape. I'm like, what the
yeah, the cassettes, man.
So all in all, I like the twist. I have no problem with the twist. I think one thing that really hurts this game for me is the characters. I think, with maybe the exception of Ocelot, every character is worse for being in this game. All of them.
I don't think Ocelot escapes that, because he's gone from, like, the really interesting villain of the series to boring codec guy.
Well, in Metal Gear Solid 4, I kind of always thought he secretly was boring codec guy, and everything up from Metal Gear Solid... Except with the exception of Snake Eater, we never really met Ocelot. Everything was a ruse from pretty much the beginning.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, at least in my brain, you know, I feel like we finally got to know Ocelot. Even though he said, by the way, brainwash myself again to believe stupid shit. So even that's kind of questionable, but I don't know. I feel like the spirit of the character was... I feel like it was the Snake Eater Ocelot who finally matured and got over himself.
Yeah, there is moments where you get to see that.
Now, Master Miller, on the other hand...
Oh man, Miller is such a fucking douchebag in this game.
He basically has all the qualities of a racist without actually being racist.
That sounds about right.
It's not... It's right, and it's so wrong. I'm like, I think what really hurt Master Miller for me It's the very last dialogue of the game, of Mission 4838, wherever, where Ocelot's like, I'm going to help out one of the sons, and you're going to help out one of the sons. And he's like, fine, I'll do it to send Big Boss to hell. So I'm thinking in my brain, so everything you did for Snake, training him, mentoring him, helping him grow as a soldier, it wasn't because you cared about him, or because out of some personal conviction you just couldn't go along with Big Boss anymore. It's because of a bitch fit
Yeah,
against
pretty
the
much.
real Big Boss. And you're still helping the Phantom anyway, so why even? What the fuck, Miller? Good God.
I just, like, I found him, he had gone completely unlikable, like, from the moment you rescue him, almost. Like, he gives that a decent speech when you first rescue him about that I lost my arm and my leg, and we're gonna get revenge. And you can see where he's coming from, but then you see, like, the scene after scene of him, like, not trusting people who really haven't done anything to not deserve it. I mean, sure, Quiet, when you first bring her to base, is an enemy you have sort of captured, but even after, like, she proves herself loyal, you still get, like, later in the game a fucking torture scene for basically no reason and shit like that, and he's
I
just...
thought I missed a cutscene. I thought I genuinely missed a fucking story segment because they're just torturing her. I'm like, didn't she just save some kid's necklace? What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, right?
I was like, oh, that must have revealed something about her. No, they're just fucking torturing her. I'm like, dude, when Snake finds out about this, he's not gonna put up with this. And Snake just walks in like, oh, guys, what are you doing? Oh, torturing? Quiet? Oh, okay, cool. And he just walks by. I'm like, God, this game's so fucking stupid.
No, they didn't have time to explain that, but they had time to make all those scenes of Huey building a tank that you will never use.
I got fucking 40 minutes of Kaz talking about burgers, but I can't fucking know why they're torturing Quiet. Oh, God. God. Oh, fuck. This game is so frustrating. It's not a bad game. Overall, I give it a passing score. But, man, is this game frustrating.
Like, I enjoy playing it, but... I don't know. I guess in that respect I feel the same way as I do about MK9, except that Metal Gear Solid 5 hasn't retconned all the previous Metal Gear games and made them worse.
Well, I do have a problem with the idea that Big Boss overtly ran a fucking mother base and called it Outer Heaven. So no one in Foxhound finds it suspicious that he's now working for Foxhound and he's leading a fucking unit against another Outer Heaven. Like, no one thinks it's a little suspicious. No one's just a little bot. What?
Yeah.
How did he get the job? How did fucking job interview sound? I don't even know. I can't even wrap my head around it. But I guess going back to Miller, the problem I have with Miller's fucking, like, 1950s prejudice against Quiet is that every criticism he has of her equally applies to every single person on the base, Ocelot included. So what the fuck is so special about Quiet? No one else on the base saved Snake's life. That's pretty unique to her, so yeah.
I don't know. I think Miller's just a big dumb petty hypocrite, and there's really no other way to look at it.
Yeah, he is a petty asshole, and that's his legacy if we never make like, here's what I would like to see. If Hideo somehow if some company buys a Metal Gear property, Hideo comes back, and we get a game where fucking Miller trains Snake, he grows attached to Snake, and he fosters him. And then we see a change in his character, like, his actions are the same, but his motivations evolved. Like, that would be really cool. We're probably not going to get that, so this is the only Miller we'll ever have. I mean, outside of Peace Walker, did we ever have Miller? We have Liquid Snake in a ponytail, and we have fucking Master Racist. That's all we fucking have. Like, I liked Miller before this game. I didn't... Even in Peace Walker, he's a fucking spy for Cypher. He's a fucking spy for Cypher. Was Miller ever not a piece of shit? Gosh, it fucking burns. This is... He looks badass in that coat and that beret, though. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a good look.
Man, those shades fucking rock. Those are some sick-ass fucking shades. But anyway...
Oh, speaking of Miller not having an arm and a leg, and I like I wanted to mention this earlier when you were talking about I don't know, I guess the differences between Snakes. Kiefer is a voice actor. Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. And this version of Boss doesn't seem to have a lot of personality, possibly attributed to the fact that he's a fake who's been hypnotized to think he's Boss. But he still, I don't know, he has some lines, and I thought he did a pretty good job, and if nothing else, this game got Kiefer Sutherland to yell the phrase "rocket punch."
And, Kiefer Sutherland really is a good fit for Big Boss. Like, I think if you're going to separate Hater from the Big Boss character, which really they should have done from the beginning, those two never.
Well,
should
yeah,
have
I mean,
been the same voice.
this isn't the first time that Boss and Solid had different voice actors.
Yeah,
Big
Richard
Boss
Doyle,
at the
right?
end of 4 was, yeah.
And he was good, and that made sense. And I think Kiefer Sutherland did a great job. I have no problem with him. And I guess now that I know that the Phantom isn't Big Boss, I don't really have a problem with the lack of dialogue. I still get annoyed about the whole, we need someone who could do motion capture with their face during their lines. The motion capture in this game wasn't very good. Not for the facial expressions, I don't think. When Snake is looking at that dog, he looks like he's trying to pop a zit in the mirror. He doesn't look like he's looking at a fucking dog. Like, that's not the face you make. He just looks confused and tired. I'm just like, that's not the face you make. Why did you pick up the puppy if that's the way you felt? Like, just put it down.
Well,
Did I say dog? I meant wolf, by the way, but yeah.
I don't know. I think they did a decent job of capturing Stephanie Juiced and pouting at me.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, that's her name.
Okay. We should probably talk about Quiet in a little while once we're done with the.
Having her as your buddy is putting the game on easy mode. I know that.
Yeah, but by like hour 25, I was ready for easy mode. I was.
That's true.
That's
true.
On that mark, anyway. So, I think who really comes out of this game the worst. Real Big Boss. Like, I think he comes out as the biggest shithole on the fucking planet.
Yeah, he does kind of just abandon all his friends to fuck off and build Zanzibar.
After he used a hospital full of patients as a shield.
Yeah.
And not even for his body, but for his reputation.
Well, now, to be fair, I think they were both in the coma for 9 years. It's just that the real boss woke up slightly earlier than the other guy.
But Otacon says, by the way, we're going to use the hospital to protect you. He's like, okay. I'm just like, what? What is wrong? You have not gone through anything terrible since Snake Eater. Why is that okay? Like, and first of all, what they're doing to the medic is just abominable. It's wretched. Why is anybody okay with this? This is exploitation at the furthest degree. And Big Boss is like, oh, that's what we're doing? Okay, cool. And
yeah, there is a question of, like, I mean, he doesn't seem to have agreed to this. To just mind-wiping him and giving him plastic surgery to look like another person.
And this is a mark against Ocelot, too, because my whole, I guess, fan speculation behind Ocelot was that everything he's done up to this point was to take down the Patriots. He's not a monster. He just made the really ugly decisions. This is not an ugly decision. This is fucked up. This is just like, this is like a convenient way to protect Big Boss. This is not even
I'm not even sure how this protects Big Boss, because, I mean, at the end of the day, aren't Outer Heaven and Zanzibar basically two of the same thing? It's just more of Boss wanting to have his own country.
How do you secretly recruit an army? How does that even happen? Like, that, none of it makes any sense.
I don't know why he needs two countries where the motto is everybody here is a mercenary and we fight for whatever we want to instead of for other governments. You don't need two.
You have to create separate flags for your two countries with no flags. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It's just like, Um, but yeah, so Big Boss is all sorts of fucked up. One person, I want to add this to the list of Ocelot. One character I think who is improved, if even ever so slightly, is Zero. I think Zero I like a lot better. Hearing the cassette tapes, I think that's a really good follow up because we never really got Zero's perspective on the situation. We're never really told how Zero felt. We're only told what he did.
Yeah, that's true.
So I kind of liked having that resolution. Like Big Boss even says at the end of part 4, I wonder what you would say now that all this has happened, or I wonder if you still hated me. And now we know. Now we know Zero never hated him. But for every positive, I gotta follow it up with a really fucking huge negative. And I'm thinking if we were making Metal Gear Solid 5, which is about the formation of Outer Heaven, why the fuck even put Zero on a cassette tape? Why not make him a big player? Any good writer could do it.
Yeah, that is like a good question. Like, why the choice to end up instead of the villains being the real Cypher, like the Skullface guy and his Splinter group becomes the thing? It's like they were saving Cypher for another game that they will now never make.
Yeah, that's not going to exist. And if it did exist, is it going to be another shitty sandbox with a phantom at the end of it? Like, I don't even know if I want that game anymore. All I know is, I think I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to protect the character of Zero. Hideo did not want to make Zero a monster. So basically, he used Skullface's character as sort of a moral shield, so we wouldn't think badly of Zero when everything was fucking said and done. Which is fine. Problem is, Skullface was a weak-ass villain.
Yeah, he was pretty one note.
I mean, even one note's kind of a stretch. What is his shtick? He's angry, I get that, but what's his big gimmick?
I don't know. Like, they go on and on and on about him believing that, like, the English language is a parasite because it, like, takes over other countries' languages or something. And it, like it's an extension of him, I don't know, being anti-American? They never really explain, like, his origin particularly well, if at all.
I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. I don't even know how to talk about this guy.
Did I miss a tape, or was it in a previous game why he has that face?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
Was he? I think it was like a burn victim or something. Like they maybe said one sentence towards the beginning.
I mean, I won't lie. I skipped a lot of tapes, like a criminal amount of tapes, because I just didn't give a shit. But maybe I don't. But if it's in a tape, do I even care? Like, if they have to tell me in a fucking cassette tape, maybe I don't even. Maybe I'm not even that invested. Maybe I'm not even going to click on the tape. I don't know. Like, I just. It felt out of nowhere. It felt extremely out of nowhere. But some stuff didn't. Like, Liquid didn't feel out of nowhere.
I like that they included Liquid. I'm actually a little bit. Well, I guess I can.
Liquid, but I like how they incorporated him.
Well, what I wonder is, like, okay, how do you feel about the guy who's clearly supposed to be Kid Psycho Mantis?
Well, the only reason I know he's Psycho Mantis is because some guy in GameFAQs wrote that, so I took his word for it. I
just assume he's Psycho Mantis because he's a psychic wearing a gas mask.
Yeah, that's. It occurred to me, but at first I thought, well, maybe this guy gives his mask to Psycho Mantis, because this is a character that literally has no lines of dialogue. Like, if you don't fucking research it, there's really nothing to know about this kid, except that he can control people's emotions and all that bullshit. Even the Man on Fire being Vulcan, I almost missed that.
They really quickly gloss over that, which seems like, I mean, it's a really kind of important thing. Oh, and by the way, here's the villain of 3. He survived, and he has fire powers.
He is extremely on fire. Yeah, no, that's a big oversight, but Honestly, dude, that could have been anybody. That could have been the fucking Colonel. It would not have made a damn. Well, the Colonel, that
Yeah.
would have made a difference. But
I mean, Man of Fire does not have any lines or personality. He's not actually a person. It seems more like he's a flaming robot that Psycho Mantis controls or something.
yeah, he's a fucking golem. I mean, what? I mean, honestly, does he even kill anybody important? Like, if you take him
I
out of the game, nothing changes.
Important? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That might be a problem. That might be a giant fucking problem. Um, I'm actually knowing that it's Mantis actually does make me like the character, and because unlike the Man on Fire, Psycho Mantis really does a lot for this game. He's probably one of the most important characters to the story. I mean, he basically moves the plot in a
Yeah,
way.
what little story there is.
Yeah, what very minute, small amounts of story there is, and yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, it also establishes that bond between him and Liquid, because if Liquid's pissed off all the time, and this thing basically is drawn towards anger, I mean, as Hideo as that is, it works. I mean, it works within the logic of Metal Gear, so I thought that was well done. I just, a lot of the problems I have with Liquid, I think of it like this. It's the same problem Metal Gear Solid 4 had with Big Mama. Finally, Snake meets his mother, and he doesn't say any. All he says is he repeats key phrases that she says. That's all he tells her, like Big Mama. Like that's all he does. Like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't. You're an orphan meeting your mother. You're finding out that she's one of the Patriots. How do you? This is your reaction? Same problem here. Liquid fucking meets his father. We're never told how he knows that he's a clone of Big Boss.
Yeah, that's
Never
true.
even
Like, he
told
knows pretty much right away. Like, he starts calling him father in scenes way before it's been established.
And it's even Big Boss, who like
We don't really know. We don't know how Liquid got to Africa and became the leader of a fucking. What is that book that they're clearly copying?
Lord
I can't
of the
remember.
Flies. Lord
Yeah,
of the
that's
Flies.
it.
Like right down to the conch. Like
Yeah.
it's not even subtle.
We don't know how Liquid got there.
But even like when he starts calling Big Boss father, like Big Boss would have one of two reactions. Either, yeah, you're my son, what of it? Or just like go on about how he feels about that, or I took a DNA test and you're not really my son, so fuck you.
Well,
He
they
doesn't
get
do either of those things.
the tape where Ocelot tells you the results of the DNA test you get after Liquid has called Venom father at least twice.
And why does he have no reaction to this?
Yeah,
This is
it's like
a
he
deal.
doesn't even ask, why is this kid calling me his dad? I'm not his dad. I haven't had any kids.
And why was fucking Liquid? And again, I've watched a lot of commentaries in this game. This isn't entirely my own conclusion, but why is Liquid bitching and moaning in Metal Gear Solid 1 about how Father called him the inferior one, when the fullest extent to their dialogue was just Liquid yelling at him and then jumping into a Metal Gear and running away? That's pretty much the fullest
Well,
extent of their conversational.
before that, they did have a little dialogue, which consisted entirely of Boss telling him, don't point a weapon at a fellow soldier, and then dislocating and then fixing his shoulder.
Yeah, while Metal Gear Solid 4 was basically a 7-hour anti-smoking PSA, this is an anti-gun night PSA we got going here for Metal Gear Solid 5. So that's shallow. If you're going to meet your clone son, I would want a little more substance than that, but we don't get anything. And this is a big deal, like.
Well, here's the thing, and some people listening may know this, some might not. There was one of the reasons we know how unfinished this game is because there has been released glimpses of what was supposed to be a third chapter, wherein you would actually go after and fight Liquid in the stolen Sahelanthropus.
The cutscenes are up. I don't know if it's so much because they weren't finished, but I think they were exclusively for the collector's edition. That's what I think I read. So I saw all those cutscenes, and they're still not very helpful.
Yeah.
They still don't really explain. All they explain is how Big Boss got Metal Gear back. There's still no resolution between Liquid and Metal. I mean, there is. Well, again, it's fucking stupid because fucking Big Boss accidentally shoots Liquid. And he does the whole fucking Revenge of the Sith. No! But then, like, after he finds out Liquid's not really dead, he's like, yeah, whatever, kid, I'm gone. Walks away. And leaves him to die because he's infected with parasites. And I'm like, what? This game makes no fucking sense. This game doesn't make a bit of damn sense. It's so incoherent in every way. People might think I don't like this game. I do. I like this game. It's got a lot of problems, and it's fun to talk about things you like. It's not really as fun to analyze things you don't like. And this is just fucking a gold mine of analyzing bad things. That's the problem, and really the triumph of this game is it's very fun to analyze, for good or for worse, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I guess what really bothers me about this game is not the fact that it's getting good reviews or bad reviews. It's getting 10 out of 10s. That's what bothers me about the reviews. A 10 out of 10 implies nothing can be reasonably improved upon.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing you gotta keep in mind with games journalism is these guys, they play like 10 minutes of it and then they decide their whole thing right there because they don't have all day.
Do they? Is that really what happens?
Yeah. Well, that's being generous because let's not forget, all the stuff that led up to, and I know, I'm going to say the phrase Gamergate, and there will be a portion of people out there who immediately just think it was people being misogynistic on Twitter. No, it was supposed to be about bad video game reviews.
Well, the problem is it was a hashtag in essence. So
yeah.
Anyone who believes anything can use it. And at the end of the day, it got associated with some of the worst people on Earth. And I agree, like, sexism is bad. But after we all agreed that the Gamergate hashtag got corrupted,
but look,
people forgot that journalism and gaming is horrible and needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I don't care, like, how you feel about sexism. Kotaku is worse than sexism is. I am making a bold claim right now. Kotaku as a thing is worse than all sexism on Earth.
I think after Mass Effect 3, I don't even think that's controversial. People know Kotaku's bad. People know Kotaku's a piece of shit at this point. Speaking of sexism, did you like Quiet as a character?
Oh, God. Well, she's not much of a character, so there are a lot of cute moments in there. I don't dislike her as a character. I don't mind that she's got her tits hanging out.
Well, here's the thing. I don't mind her primary costume. It's the shower scene's the only time where I feel like Hideo went full Hideo. Like, that's the only time where I'm like, Hideo, this is too much. We know what's going on. We're not idiots. We know this is a fucking, like, wank fantasy going on.
I mean, there is, I don't know, if I were a writer and you gave me a fucking mute chick and told me, show that she's in love with the main character, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. What scenes do I fucking write to get that across to the audience?
Well, the first thing you do is you write scenes. They didn't do that.
Yeah, that would help.
Scenes.
Well, there is that one moment where she's, like, playing in the rain and splashing him and shit.
That scene's not weird because she's splashing Big Boss. That scene is weird because Big Boss is splashing back.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
When was it ever conveyed that Big Boss was the kind of guy who enjoyed an adorable water fight? When was that ever even hinted at? Because I want to know.
Well, yeah, he likes puppies. We know that now.
Not by the look on his fucking face, dude. The dude looks like he was doing his taxes. That's the thing, man. Like, it's... Even then, like, the face he's making and the noise he's making, like, it doesn't seem cute. It looks like a dirty old man throwing water at a young girl. It really feels like a fucking strip club scene. It doesn't feel natural at all to me, you know? And, I don't know. Like, the whole like, the suit is basically a swimsuit with fishnet, and we're Mortal Kombat fans. We're no stranger to leotards and exposed thighs. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's whatever. It's gaming.
Again, going back to MK9, it never bothered me that they were showing skin. It bothered me when the costumes didn't fit the character's personality.
Exactly.
And I don't know, I can't really make that argument with Quiet because they gave this whole excuse that she needs all of her skin hanging out because she breathes through her skin, which is weird.
Yeah. Well, it's also weird that people are saying Quiet is Chico, and I don't really have an opinion on that, to be honest with
I
you.
don't know where that comes from.
People, there's a lot of game theories.
Did they miss the beginning of the game where she shows up fully clothed with different hair and you set her on fire and that's why she breathes through her skin
Well,
now?
they think that was Chico too. They think it's all Chico.
That's not. It doesn't look like a Latino boy.
Well, I mean, I've read the theories. I personally don't think it's Chico. But if it is, it doesn't really change anything because nothing in Quiet's character really matters after this game. That character expired. But
Mm.
I honestly think Quiet's okay as a character. I really don't know if I like the love story because Snake kind of set her on fire. It's kind of a problem. When
Well,
you set someone on fire, it's kind of hard to fall in love with them because
it's
they
a
set you on
bad first
fire.
impression, but I don't know. I mean, Boss kicked Ocelot's ass the first time they met, and they're buddies now.
Something tells me that Ocelot enjoys that, though. Like,
Yeah,
Ocelot's kind of
he
into
does
that.
kind of have that vibe, but I'm just saying, like, there is this whole thing about the boss and his fucking charisma that people are fucking drawn to him.
Pretty much every character in Metal Gear is arguably part of some form of Stockholm Syndrome, except for maybe Liquid and Snake. I don't really know how it works, man. I don't. Ocelot kind of has that hurt me again kind of personality, so I give him a pass on that. But geez, like, I don't even know, man. Like, and I haven't seen the pause scenes. I haven't checked them out. I haven't looked at
I
them.
have. There's not much content to those. It's just you show her a photograph, some old memory from when she was still alive, and then she goes, "Oh, my head hurts," and lies back down, and you come back and you do it again and again until you get to the end where she starts. Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Spoil away. Spoil
Okay,
away.
so the very last time you come to visit her, which at this point you are pretty sure you're just hallucinating her because her memories are starting to not add up. Uh, you walk in the room and she's clawing at that scar, and she starts pulling out her intestines because she thinks there's still a bomb inside her. And then she throws it at you, and he relives the helicopter explosion, and you get another fucking tape wherein
What?
she talks about being a hallucination and that, a bunch of philosophical stuff that's clearly what's going on in Snake's head, but it's in Paz's voice somehow.
That would be really cool if the person in the game was actually Big Boss, who actually met and spent time with Paz, and not a
Well,
fucking
to be
phantom.
fair, you could theoretically assume, I mean, the medic was he was a member of Military Sans Frontiers, and he was on the helicopter, and he was in fact the one who pulled the bomb out of her and missed the second bomb, so you can see why he'd feel guilt even though he's not the real boss.
It is problematic that I never played Peace Walker. I just YouTubed it, so I'm sure there's a lot of context I don't have. I
Mm.
never played Ground Zeroes either. I got it for free on my PlayStation. And the best way for me to not play a game is to give it to me for free. It's the absolute best way for me not to play a game. Um, God, it just. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know that they really added anything to the game, because at the end of the day, the message is still the same. Paz died, and you feel guilty about it.
But I do like the idea that she's a hallucination. That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty tight. I mean, the real Paz character is kind of strange by herself. She might work better as a hallucination. I don't know if I like the actual character. I don't know. So it's yeah. There's a lot of things I would have done with this game. Sigint and Paramedic, I think, really needed to be in this game in a big way, and it's a giant missed opportunity that they were not.
Hmm.
Because we never got closure on those characters. We know Gray Fox killed fucking Paramedic. Her name fucks me up in that for some reason. And we know that Sigint was actually the DARPA cheat.
Yeah.
I didn't, honestly, dude, until about a week and a half ago, I didn't know that.
Here's a fun fact about both Gray Fox and the DARPA chief. They were voiced by the guy who voices Jax now.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I always
I was
thought Gray Fox sounded black. I always thought.
Well, I was rewatching some Metal Gear Solid 1 cutscenes, and I'm like, man, the DARPA chief sounds like Jax. Is that the same guy? So I looked it up, and it is.
Well, that's why I was so surprised when I found out Deep Throat was actually Gray Fox. But I'm like, Gray Fox sounds black. Is Gray Fox black? Maybe he's black. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, his last name is Jaeger, which is German, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. What do I know?
No, it can be misleading maybe, but yeah, I did not know Sigint was the DARPA chief till very recently, and I guess there's so much shit in Metal Gear Solid 4 that there's probably a lot of things I missed. But like, did they ever straight up say Gray Fox killed Paramedic? Like, was that ever actually articulated in the games?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's a problem. We really fucking needed a. Well, here's another reason we needed Paramedic. Oh, excuse me. We needed Paramedic in this game. It's because the idea was he eventually became incredibly corrupt. Like, the whole human experimentation thing was supposed to be like a gradual fall. And the only experiences we really have with Paramedic is she's a giant fucking movie buff who saves her games in Snake Eater. That's who she is. So we completely skimmed over the whole Frankensteinian becoming a monster thing, which is really interesting to me, and we don't see it ever.
Speaking of that, I do want to mention that I find it odd that there are no fourth wall breaking moments, really, where, like, somebody goes, oh, her codec's on the back of the CD case, or you have to plug your controller into port 2.
Oh, man.
Nobody says that out loud in this game. Like, they act like it's, completely in universe, which is weird for a Metal Gear.
Well, I guess the substitute for that is when you save Hideo Kojima in a mission.
I suppose that's true.
That's a big wink, but that's not, like, in the style of... Like, one of my favorite lines in video game history is when Snake points out his bandana and says, infinite ammo. That's, like, one of the greatest things. That blew my fucking, like, late middle school, early high school mind. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. So I don't really know what's going on, man. Like, I
don't know.
I question how much Hideo was involved.
Yeah, I wonder... Well, I get the sense that there's a lot about this game, or like the Metal Gear 5 era of games, including Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes, where they're trying to be, I don't know, more mainstream, because there was a lot of backlash to 4 basically being cutscene, occasionally interactive.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think it's funny that 4 was that way, and this way is the exact fucking opposite.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not even against a game with some bare bones story. I just don't like how they handled it. Like, if Snake had acted like Snake, and I mean, granted, the twist kind of fixed that, but this game just feels like a huge lack of substance, and
I don't know, because I've seen... Like, I mean, this game was sort of supposed to build up to or explain how Big Boss eventually becomes a bad guy. And I have actually seen people complaining that he's sort of too heroic. Because, there's all these scenes of, talking about, like, brotherhood and, like, among his soldiers, he's such a hero. Like... These guys let you fucking toss them to the ground and beat them up, and then they get back up and they're like, thanks for that, boss.
Again, Stockholm Syndrome, it's horrible. I just... Well, for one thing, he's saving puppies and shit. That doesn't help.
Yeah,
That's
like,
you're
constantly rescuing animals if you want to Fulton them out of, Afghanistan or Africa, and you get money for it, and... You can choose to never kill anybody, like Fulton everything you fucking run into.
If there was like a slaughter deck where they ate this shit, like you ate sheep, you ate bear, like that would be like totally in line with a group of fucking mercenaries. A conservation area is
yeah. No, you have a fucking a Greenpeace platform, fucking World Wildlife Fund over here.
These are some progressive fucking mercenaries. My gosh, man.
I do like the idea of your country being an oil rig you keep building bigger and bigger. Who needs land?
It's just so out of sync with everything. Master Miller's like, all right, Snake, you gotta kill this guy. He's got information on our contractor, on our client. You gotta take this guy out. Then after you do that, he's like, all right, Snake, go find this bear. I'm like, nothing fits. Nothing fucking fits. I don't know. I would say my favorite thing about this game, if nothing else, is probably just the over the top surreal bullshit of attaching sheep to balloons and
Yeah.
like knocking people over on your base and having them thank you for it. That is a lot of fun. Like that is a real joy to me.
Yeah.
My least favorite part of this game is, of course, the lack of story, but I guess that'd be closely followed by just the lack of goals. You built this beautiful open world. There's nothing to fucking do in it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Like, there's, 150 side ops, and there's actually only 3 kinds of side ops. And that kind of rings true for the main missions, too. You do the same shit.
Like the main missions and the side ops, the only difference is sometimes you get a cutscene if you do a main mission.
Yeah.
But only sometimes. Only sometimes.
Well, more often you get a cutscene just for occasionally helicoptering back to base. It doesn't really matter whether you've done a mission or not.
Do you know how many times I just went back to base just hoping for a cutscene?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to fucking rescue the 15th prisoner. Let's just go to base and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe Dee Dee will jump on me and lick my face some. That would be better than nothing.
I was so starved for story, I was begging for that fucking dog, man. I was begging for anything. I want fucking Liquid to pick a fight with me out of fucking the blue and just... Yeah,
Give me another scene where Huey is fucking in the interrogation room and Ocelot's threatening to inject his legs with acid.
Yeah, that's probably the closest we got to classic Ocelot, both future classic and past classic Ocelot.
That's true. He is a really, really nice guy for someone who's renowned for being a torturer.
That's kind of in line with what I always thought Ocelot was, though. He didn't want to torture people. My theory is that the reason the DARPA chief died during the torture is because Ocelot went too far, but he probably went too far because he was genuinely pissed off at Sigint. He was like, you son of a fucking bitch. I have gone through so much shit because of your stupid fucking AIs, and now I'm going to electrocute you. A lot. That's what I thought happened. That could all be bullshit, all fan theory. I don't know what's actually true. I don't know what goes on in Hideo's brain. I think that would be horrifying. I don't want to spend a day in that brain, but...
It would be, I don't know, not entirely different from imagining what goes on in Grant Morrison's brain when he writes comic books.
It's a dark walk. I don't know if I can take that. You know, speaking of characters who should not share the same voice actors as their father, how do we feel about Huey?
Oh, man, that's
rough. That's a rough subject.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's, Huey is such a fucking... I don't know. It's been a long time since I've hated a person as much as I hate as Huey, I'll say that.
He's a character who is so much of a piece of shit that all the characters around him become pieces of shit by extension. You're a piece of shit for lying, and you're all pieces of shit for believing him for the 7th time. The boss shot, 20 of our own soldiers. We think Huey might be lying now. I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
It's so obvious that he's lying, too. In the very first or second tape, he's already contradicting his own stories, but you let him stick around for the whole rest of the game.
I'm going to put my own character on the line here. Honestly, I thought he might be telling the truth until I found out he killed Strangelove. I thought the inspection may have been some blind ideal that he was following. Then when I found out he killed Strangelove, I'm like, yeah, this guy's full of shit.
Hey,
this
guys.
Hey!
I'm just saying, hey, you guys are doing a good job. We're all rooting for you.
Twisty!
Bye.
Cyborg, everybody! Da-da-da-da-da-da! That's our cyborg.
That was surprisingly quirky and unexpected.
Yeah. Trying to turn my show into his fucking taco show.
We gotta do another one of those soon. That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoy those.
Yeah, they're a blast. But yeah, just why is Christopher Randolph voicing Huey?
That's a good question. Just kind of bizarre that they sound exactly the same. Because then I think of Otacon when I'm hearing Huey talk, and it's not right.
Why do they look exactly the same? Like that, it's the same glasses, the same fucking hair, the same fucking voice. I mean, they made no effort.
I didn't know that peeing your pants was genetic either. I know you could inherit that.
Yeah, apparently whiny is also very, very genetic. It's incredibly genetic. But you know, in a way, this was kind of this works. I can't harp too much. It hurts the other characters more than it hurts Huey. Because from what we know from Metal Gear Solid 2, Huey was supposed to be a piece of shit. He was never really supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know how Emma fits in all this, because Strangelove is dead, and we're only told about a son. I don't know when Emma comes into the picture at all.
Isn't she with the second wife?
That's
the
right.
one that Otacon has sex with?
Yeah, that... I forgot about that until very recently.
Yeah, then Huey fucking drowns himself in the pool because he caught his son having sex with his wife.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's dark. It's real dark.
But why? That's why I don't get why there's any reciprocation between the pseudo love story between Otacon and Emma, because isn't Emma thinking in her brain, at least at one point in Metal Gear Solid 2, hey, remember the time you had sex with my mother and our stepfather killed himself? Like, that never, like... Why is there even kind of a...
I don't know.
Even if you take Huey killing himself out of the picture, that's still really weird. I mean, even if you take the fucking mother out of the picture, that's still really fucking... There's nothing... It's weird at its fucking nucleus. I don't...
Japan. That's all I got.
LOL, Japan, you're so funny. But you know, the Japanese weirdness is one reason why I do like Metal Gear
that's true.
So much. It's very outside of the box.
It's a unique flavor you can't really find in something made here in America.
You can replicate it. Like, Metal Gear breaks a lot of boundaries, and because of that, it kind of wanders into some weird places it shouldn't go to. But outside of those boundaries are cool plot points, like the whole... I thought the Liquid Ocelot thing was handled very well. I thought that was exceptionally handled. Because at first it's dumb. That should be like the subtitle for Metal Gear Solid 2. At first this is going to be dumb. But in 7 years this is all going to make sense. And they wrapped it up pretty well, I thought, you know? Like,
that's
even
true.
with all the nanomachines. I still think
took the long road on Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, that game fucking broke me as a kid. But it was worth it. It was worth, you know, that's why, like, if Shadowloo or Cyborg play Metal Gear, like, in my mind, is like, that's not even fucking fair. Like, they should make themselves wait 7 years before they play 4.
Okay,
like,
now this bullshit you just had to deal with, sit there and think about it. Don't even go on to the next one.
This shit ferments inside of. Do it.
Deal with that.
Yeah, they need to hold that shit, because it's not fair. It's not even... But man, I honestly cannot see Cyborg, like, putting up with this shit. Like, once it gets too weird, like, the first time Otacon pisses himself, I'm sure Cyborg's gonna be done. Like, I'm sure he's gonna be like, no, not doing this. I don't blame him. Metal Gear, it takes an iron stomach to really play these games, in my opinion. And any of them. Well, I guess maybe 5 would be its own exception, but 5's got its own weird shit, too.
It's significantly less weird, but I don't know. I think the thing with 5 is mostly the visual gags. Like, again, just the fucking concept of the Fulton balloon.
It's probably one of the more rewarding things in the game, because it's just such a unique animation. And I know if I want to do this, there's no other game. There's no other way I can do this. So here we go, Bear. Let's do it. That's the thing. That's the mentality. So that is really why it was one of my favorite parts of the game. But I think Infiltration is really fun. Infiltration feels really good in this game. And just scale. I think one thing that the 32-bit generation had over the 16-bit generation is the scale of what you could do was so much higher, and we never saw that again. In this game, you can tie fucking cargo crates that probably weigh a couple of 1,000 pounds to a balloon and take them to your base. That's what I'm talking about when I say games should increase their scale of what you can do. Nothing like that was possible in a previous. Not, I don't want to say possible, but no one would have thought to have done that. What you can do has become bigger and cooler. That's why Fallout is such a big fucking deal. They really raise the scale of what you can do in a game. And they did that in the weirdest way possible and didn't do it in any other gameplay category. But they did it here. They did it fucking in
That's
the
true.
animal cargo category. They fucking raised the scale, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess real quick, do we have favorite Metal Gears? Do we have favorite characters? Were there things we were looking forward to this game that we didn't get? Those are a lot of questions you can answer anyone in any order.
Yeah, I don't know. If I have to pick a favorite Metal Gear, I might say 3. Favorite character? That's tricky. I like Solid a lot. Just because there's a lot about his character where it's like, and I guess all the versions of Snake have gone through these speeches about, like, how war changes you as a person. And, like, there are no heroes in war and all that kind of thing. And I don't know. I always felt like Solid had still a more idealistic spin on it than Big Boss. Because at the end of the day, Big Boss does become the villain. Like, it's like Harvey Dent says in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, you either die a hero or live long enough to be put into a biomort coma by AIs. I guess that's kind of where things end up going. But Solid's a good answer. I mean, Solid. It's probably a tie between Solid and, believe it or not, I really like Raiden.
I was thinking my second pick would probably be Raiden, and I don't know if I would have answered that before Revengeance.
Well, it's funny. I've never played Revengeance actually.
Oh, I love Revengeance. You know, I love fucking action games, so.
It's such a damn shame I bought that game for $9.99, which doesn't mean I'm not going to play it. It's not like it was free, but it means I'm not going to play it for a very fucking long time, which is a shame.
So it's literally, like, it's not just, oh, you gave it to me for free, it's...
Yeah, like, I need to get the flu and be off work for, like, 4 days, and then I'll think about playing Revengeance, dude, but that...
I get it. Like, you go into the store and you pay your own money, then you were there in the moment when it was bought and it was on your mind, so... You're excited for it in that moment, you know?
As a child, buying a video game is such a big deal, because, like...
Yeah, I mean, to this day, like, the reason that the story of Mythologies, MK Mythologies, is so important to me is that was the first game I ever bought with my own money.
And I don't think that game's even that bad. I think for your money's worth, you got something very good in my opinion.
Well, playing it, I mean, the fucking jumps in the wind level, I have a lot of reason to hate, but I don't because the story makes up for it so much. I fucking love the story of fucking Sub-Zero and the Netherrealm and Serena and Quan Chi and Shinnok, all that stuff. That's my favorite portion of the lore.
I think there's even a trend among game reviewers who go back and review retro games. Even they kind of have the perspective of, is this game really as bad as we remembered it? It's just sub-mediocre, but it's not shit.
I don't know. I still see a lot of people who lump it in with Special Forces as the unsuccessful platformers era, and I think that's because they didn't play it. Like, they just know what they heard, that all the platformers Midway made in that era were bad.
Well, there's a lot of great ideas in that game. Like, the idea of, like, learning special... It's almost... It would be insulting to call it a Metrovania-type game. It's not. I know it's not.
It's more like an... It has RPG elements the same way River City Ransom did on the NES.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually kind of rewarding. Being able to do new freeze moves is actually really fulfilling in that game. It's a shame the difficulty is insane and the level design is obnoxious, but... You know, there's fun things about that game, but... Yeah, I gotta play Revengeance. I like Raiden, and I like just Metal Gear in general. It's kind of an accident in history. I haven't played it yet.
Well, I think that, I mean, if you look at how fast they became memes, it's pretty obvious that Jetstream Sam and Senator Armstrong are great villains.
You know, I know the names. I couldn't tell you anything substantial about them.
Uh, Sam is sort of like Raiden. He's got a cyborg-looking body, but he's got like a ponytail and a beard and a... You've probably seen the picture of him with the big shit-eating grin on his face.
If I did, I didn't recognize it.
Hmm.
I did not think Metal Gear if I saw it, but you know, maybe that'll be my project next week. Maybe I'll finally. I just don't want to fucking plug in my 360, dude. That's another obstacle. I finally have a TV where I can hook up my Xbone and my PS4. I don't want to fucking go down that road, but it's got to be done, I guess. But the other question I had was, well, favorite. You said 3, right? For favorite Metal Gear Solid. That had the best gameplay, in my opinion. Even better than 5, and here's why. The mechanics may be better in 5, but 3 felt ridiculously rewarding. Like, everything felt like it compensated you for every difficult thing you did. You either got a really cool cutscene, or you did something really cool that was really difficult, and you used all your skills to sort of accomplish that. It just, the whole eating spiders and fucking, like, using the sonar, everything just gelled, in my opinion. Everything gelled together so well in 3. Even if the stealth mechanic itself wasn't as sophisticated, and I'll gladly make that concession. 5 has a better stealth mechanic. But yeah, 3 has the best gameplay. I will say overall, as an experience, Metal Gear Solid 4 is my favorite. I could just, like, fucking put that on YouTube and just, like, stream the whole fucking, like, however many hours it is and just drink it in. Just, like, you know, I could kill a case of beer doing that. I love that game. I love that story. Now, as for things you were hoping to see in Metal Gear Solid 5 that clearly did not show up, was there anything on your list that just was brutally disappointing?
I don't know if I really had any expectations, really. I mean, I guess you kind of already touched on it, that there's now like a missing the 90s era of the series where, you know, Boss and Master Miller are running Foxhound and they train Solid. And I don't know, some sort of continuation of that would have been nice to see, because there is sort of... One thing about this game is, like, it starts at 1984, and then it doesn't actually tell you when it ends. Like, it's obviously long enough for the dog to grow up from a puppy to a full-grown wolf, and it's...
Which happened out of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah. It's over the course of, like, 5 missions.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But it's okay. Like, stuff like that didn't bother me too much.
And then at the end, the cassette you get lists the name of the mission for Metal Gear 1, which was 1998, but it can't be the 90s yet.
It's a long time to hold on to a cassette tape.
Yeah.
Well, here's something I'm going to add to the list. Where is Solidus? Like, what? I'm not even really clear on what Solidus is, to be honest with you, man. Why the fuck did the Patriots make him look old on purpose? Like, what? Why?
I think there was some stuff about him being artificially aged. I guess so he could run for president.
It's a very Patriot thing to do, I'm sure, but I think out of all the clones, he by far got the most screwed. We know so little about that guy.
Yeah,
and then
true.
By the time he comes back to the series, he burns to death on a fucking boat. And we don't even know it's him. We don't even get. He doesn't even have the honor of being like, poor Sawdust burned to death on a boat. Big Boss, being the typical asshole he is like, by the way, Sawdust burned to death on a boat. Like that. God.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there was a real big missed opportunity there to, you know, do a big, like, political story, like some sort of Manchurian Candidate James Bond cross where Solid has to fight Solidus while he's still the president.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
And it would have fit in line with everything else, what we know about the Patriots and the American government. Like, that would have been really sick. But just, oh, man. I really wanted to get to know Liquid better. I didn't want to always think he was a fucking die-hard knockoff asshole. I wanted to think there was something more there, and there's not. There
Apparently,
really
he
is
was
nothing.
always a little shit.
Yeah, he's the main villain from The Wizard with Fred Savage. That's all it fucking is. Like, that is Liquid in a nutshell.
The back of his jacket, instead of saying "never be game over," whatever that means, should say "it's so bad," and a picture of the power glove.
Big Boss essentially has the power glove anyway with that fucking fire hydrant hand from Peace Walkers.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but... Yeah, so I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the other Patriots. I wanted to see Paramedic become a monster. I still feel like it's a giant gap from Sigint being like this engineer to him building world-controlling AIs. I still feel like that was a jump that was never really properly articulated or justified.
Well, I think there's supposed to be a hint somewhere in there, like, in this game, that... I don't want to say there's a hint. I want to say it's, like, implied that nanomachines are based on the fucking vocal cord parasites.
Yeah. Yeah, which is exactly what I was thinking as well. But just... in Peace Walker, we see very sophisticated AIs. I'm like, oh, it's starting. This is where it's coming from. And then we never hear about them ever again. Until Strangelove starves to death in a fucking bottle. Which is a shame, but... Yeah, no, I don't know. That's probably my number one. Also, it's such a clusterfuck with Portable Ops, because no one can decide if that game is canon or not. Hideo said in a podcast somewhere that it is canon, and no one else seems to agree with him.
I don't know. I think what he said was, like, parts of it are canon, like their attitude to it is the same as Neither Realms to Shaolin monks.
Well, that doesn't help because Grey Fox's entire origin is spelled out in Portable Ops. So I need to know, like, right now, what is canon and what is not. Because otherwise, Frank Yeager is such a fucking mess, dude. He was a super soldier who dated a Russian Olympian who fucking worked for Big Boss, who was still a super soldier, but then became a super soldier by Paramedic in 2003 and escaped with his storyline is such a fucking mess, dude. Like, there's a reason people were joking before Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, saying the twist is that everybody is Grey Fox. Like, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that. People thinking that, like, it was kind of... People were sort of getting the hint that, like, Boss isn't Boss before the game came out, and they were saying it's probably Grey Fox. I'm actually a little disappointed it's not, even though that would have just made things even worse.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's a giant missed opportunity that he's not in this game. Like, I actually thought Liquid was Frank Yeager when I first saw him. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, that then I was like, oh, it's Liquid. That makes total... Because I heard the voice, because Liquid doesn't talk. And then when he does talk, he has that British accent. So I'm like, oh, of course that's Liquid.
Yeah.
But he uses the machete like a katana, so I thought Frank Yeager. That made sense to me, but...
Yeah, I could kind of see it.
I don't know. So that's pretty much my final impressions of Metal Gear. If I had to give the game a rating, I would say 6 out of 10, which is not bad. Like, I bitch about this game because there's a lot to bitch about, but it's not shit. I really did enjoy it. I mean, it's disappointing, but it's, you know, like it's like, you know, having your kid get like a C+ on his report card. It's disappointing, but it works, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm more forgiving than you are. I'd probably give it like a B-. Like
not fair. It's not a 10 out of 10 GameSpot. So yeah, it's just
Game of the year, 8 out of 10.
And just, oh man, like, I feel like I'm the only one, though. I feel like I'm the only one who's really angry about this game. So when I look on the web, there's all this love. Just,
I have seen a lot of people who, I mean, not angry, but definitely disappointed. And I think it's that sort of sad acceptance disappointed because people know that fucking Kojima didn't get to finish it. And that, you know, Konami has gone the way it's gone. you can't really be surprised or expect more than shit when you are watching them fall to shit.
I just don't know why the fall of shit's even to blame. Wasn't this game in development for, man, like 6 years or something like that?
Well, yeah, it was
Ridiculous.
in development for a long time, and I don't know what Kojima was doing with all the development money. I imagine like there was some point where he was making a different game and turned it around, like changed the idea, and that so they had to sort of start some things over from scratch. I've seen that happen before in development, but I don't know, because I mean, Ground Zeroes wasn't even supposed to be a separate game. I think
So was Ground Zero supposed to be part of Metal Gear Solid 5, or?
I think it was. Like I as far as I know, Ground Zeroes was supposed to be part of the main game, and they had to, because that part was complete enough, they were able to chop it off and put it out as its own game. And that the money that they made from that went back into finishing 5, even though it's not finished.
Were they in such dire straits where they had to do that, though? Like, I didn't know Konami was hurting that bad.
I think so. I think it was sort of like Konami was at this point where they were all like, look, we've given you all this dev money, game's not finished yet, you're not getting any more. And he's all like, well, it's not done, I need more. So they had to do something.
So what happens when you get Kiefer Sutherland to voice one character with no lines? You probably run out of money. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much my concluding thoughts. I wanted so much out of this game. I don't feel like this game answered any questions when really it was the perfect opportunity to answer questions. That's my real disappointment. And you can't combine those categories. You can say it's good and you can say it's a giant disappointment without contradicting anything. I think it's truly both. It's a good game that is a gigantic disappointment. That's kind of my final thoughts.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that. I mean, again, I'm not as disappointed as you are. I still am able to enjoy the game, although in terms of story, which is what you usually play a Metal Gear game for, it is definitely lacking. I'm having almost enough fun with the gameplay to make up for that fact, I guess.
And I think it'll be a fun game to revisit in the future. I feel like this game... I feel like the gameplay is its own beast where I can go back and still really enjoy it, especially now that I'm better at this game. This game it's both too easy and too hard, so it really
yeah, that's true.
will be fun to revisit. Like, the game, when you first play the game, you're just learning how to infiltrate, and you're learning your boundaries, like how close can I get to someone? How much noise can I make? You know, how fast can I go without being spotted? You know, how effective are the spotlights? Like, that's a bitch. But once you get to that point where you figure all that shit out, the game is broken. So it's like I'm fucking immortal now because I have a sniper who can stand on top of a mountain and destroy everything.
Yeah,
GG.
I have gone into missions and literally not lifted a finger except to clean up with Fultons after the work was done.
Yeah, no, same here, dude. I'm like, you know, after getting caught the 5th time, like, fuck it. Everyone's getting Fulton. Everyone. I'm done. You, Fulton. Tank, Fulton. Everything now.
Welcome to the Diamond Dogs, asshole.
You and your tank are going to be great friends with us. Trust me. Yeah, no, I have Fultoned entire bases. And it was great. Yeah, stuff like that's going to be fun to revisit. I still like Master Miller. I feel kind of gross saying that, but I still like the guy, you know?
There are shades of a decent character hidden behind all the fucking bullshit.
Okay, maybe you can answer a question for me. Is Master Miller blind?
That's a good question, because I didn't think so, but there is that one scene where he takes off his glasses, and there's like a close-up on his eyes, and it looks like he's sort of staring out into space, or they're a little cataracty. I couldn't really tell.
This game literally didn't answer any damn questions. I just want to know if he's blind or not.
I don't know, he seems to get around fine, like, there is... like a moment where he snatches a gun out of a kid's hand. He obviously knew it was there somehow. I don't think he has Daredevil powers.
But it all comes together now, dude, because if Big Boss's goal was to send the worst soldier into outer heaven, then getting his trainer to be a guy with one leg, one arm, and being blind was probably the best way to go about it. You had one job, Master Miller, and you fucked up.
To be fair, it sounds like he fucked it up on purpose. It's like the opposite of fucking... Oh, what's the name of the movie? Kung Pao. It's the opposite of Kung Pao. He trained him right on purpose because Big Boss wanted it wrong.
It's like, listen, this guy's a clone of me. He's going to be fucking badass, so I need you to do everything you can to make him fucking combatingly impotent as possible. He's like, yeah, I got this. Fuck you. Anyway.
I'll show him. He'll see. Teach him to not put me on the A team. Got me over here on this fucking oil rig. I want to be in Zanzibar with the real boss.
Didn't help that. Well, I mean, if Big Boss really wanted to stop Snake, he should have put a lot of soldiers on the field who didn't feel asleep all the time. Maybe that would have helped out a bit. God, these guys are easy to fucking get by. They all feel asleep. God. Otacon. But anyway, yeah.
That's actually a really good hater impression.
No, I appreciate that. No, it's Otacon's a little harder to do. It's a hard voice to do. And of course, everyone can go, brother! Like, everyone's got that. Everyone's got it. You can't go through life without a pocket brother. That's just... Sometimes you just gotta say it. I got two brothers.
Sometimes you have to let the legend come back to life.
Okay, well, those are my thoughts on Metal Gear. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to leave behind for our fans on the Metal Gear legacy?
I feel like the legacy of this game will be action figures with squeezable tits. Do you know about that? The Quiet Figure?
I didn't know that.
The Quiet Figure has squishy tits.
Well, why not? She fucking lap danced me on a helicopter probably 150 times.
That is true.
Point.
What is up with that?
Especially when she's covered with blood. I'm like, okay, from now on, you're silver forever. You're never going to be covered with blood again, you sick bitch. Oh, man. Gosh, just...
I like how she looks back and she's like, "Are you looking at my ass? Are you? Better be looking at my ass."
And yet, when she's crossing her legs, she looks at you like, "Is she staring at me? Okay, I'll uncross. She's not staring anymore. Okay, I'll recross." Like, just, oh, you adorable weirdo. Yeah, I'm gonna miss you, Snake. I'm gonna miss you, Hater. I'm gonna miss you, Hater.
I'm sure there's still work out there for him.
Yeah, but
maybe another Smash Brothers one day.
Oh god, I still watch that. That is still fucking gold, man.
Those codecs were one of the best things in the game.
No, but that's the thing, though. I don't want him to get other work. I want him to be Snake. I want him to always be Snake. I want him to only be Snake. I want him to write X-Men scripts while being dressed and acting like Snake. That's what I want him to do.
He's to show up to Bryan Singer to hand it in, and he's wearing the bandana.
Oh, God. God bless David Hayter, man. And, you know what? God bless Kiefer Sutherland. I have no enmity towards him. I think he did a great job. Nothing in this game is his fault.
Nah.
Still kind of want to know what he was doing with Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, how did he misunderstand that he was not in a Mortal Kombat game? I don't...
Yeah. How did they miss that? There's got to be some story behind that. Like, there's got to be some epic fucking story, dude.
Yeah, that is very confusing.
Like, fucking, like, the Lost Boys villain was going to be a guest character or some weird shit like that. Or Jack Bauer. Something. It's something. I
don't even know. I don't know. Maybe maybe he auditioned for it, or like he did some lines and they didn't like him, so they recast him like fucking Dinklage in Destiny, but it didn't make it to release.
You know, it's, for Kiefer Sutherland's like scale, that's like applying for McDonald's and getting rejected. Like, no, we don't think you're McDonald's material. We apologize. We thank you for applying. We think someone else should play Baraka. So it's just
look, you did it. You would be a great striker, but he's not in this game, so.
And neither are you. Get out. Oh man, that has to be one of the greatest MK. I can't think of a bigger mystery behind the MK. Basically, development history than that. That is going to bother me for years to come.
That is, like, I even wonder if, like, was he ever actually involved at all, or did he somehow just make up in his head that he'd have done a voice for a Mortal Kombat game and that never actually happened?
Well, the quote is so fucking explicit. It's like Metal Gear was actually a breeze, unlike Mortal Kombat X, which took forever. He implied like he already did all the lines. And if you look at the intro dialogues, I imagine that would be a lot of work. So the quote seems incredibly apt to what we actually saw in MKX. So...
Maybe he was going to be Fujin.
Oh god, that's gold. Oh man, I went told Django about that.
Salty gold.
We have a reoccurring theme on the Warrior Shrine where we complain about Fujin not being in MKX.
We have a reoccurring theme on every show we do about Fujin not being in MKX.
Well, we only got, 6 more months till we find out if he's in the game or not?
I think he is the official husbando of the Nethercast.
Oh, man.
We need if we ever do a convention, we need to show up to a panel with shirts made that say "I heart Fujin."
I don't even need the panel. Just give me the shirt now. I'll fucking wear that to church.
You know, that reminds me. There was a long time ago, Combat Pavilion.
Yeah.
Had it was selling T-shirts, and it had 3 made. There was black with the red, the Kung Lao symbol. There was, I think it was white with Raiden's symbol and a yellow circle. And there was, like, a maroon with a white circle and Fujin's logo from MK4. And I always, like, I don't know if he's still selling them. I don't think he is, but it always kind of bummed me out that I sort of missed my chance to get one.
No, oh, man, those would sell like gold right now, man, and...
Especially, like, the Kung Lao shirt, because people would definitely recognize that.
Well, you know, I don't know. Like, I would really like just a Mortal Kombat shirt, to be honest with you. I'd like to wear an MK shirt.
Oh, I have several MK shirts. I got... Hot Topic was selling one last time I was in there.
Really? Well,
yeah, it's black with a red dragon logo. Sort of has that weathered look to it.
Yeah, that'd be great if I was like...
I have another one. It's got the MK1 character select screen on it, and it says choose your fighter. I've got one that's actually somebody else owns it too. They put it up on the Facebook page. You can see it's a picture of it's like a screenshot from MK1 of the spine rip.
Yeah.
And then I have another with just the dragon logo on it, and it's like the classic red, orange, yellow gradient.
I have a Deception shirt, because when I bought MK Deception, they gave me a shirt, so... I don't want to wear it, though. Like, it's coming apart, dude. Like, that... I don't want to...
Yeah.
That's not worth wearing anymore. Like, I need that. I need that.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it. I've got some shirts that I've had for so long that they're getting holes in them, and they mean something to me, so I try not to...
Well, an old friend of mine bought me 2 Mortal Kombat shirts because he knew I was a fan, but they didn't fit. Like, the trend in modern shirt making is to make the shoulders as fucking tight as fucking possible. And I thought I was going to break my collarbone, dude. Like, it was just...
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Like, I like my shirts to be loose in the sleeves. I don't want that shit.
Yeah, no, man. I'm not going to a frat party. Fucking give me normal-ass sleeves, man. I don't know, but... I say this with movies, but I want to say it now with games. Now that fucking Metal Gear's out... or now that Metal Gear's done, what do we play now? Like, I have nothing to look forward to because I'm probably not going to play Fallout 4. And that's it. I have no games to look forward to anymore. I got nothing.
Well, Cyborg's gonna make you get Halo 5.
Yeah, no, he is, and I'm gonna still be pretty bad at it.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Better. Are you gonna buy Halo 5 day one?
Yeah, I think I'm getting it day one. I know I'm really curious to see where this fucking story goes since they've, got all these trailers. Hunting the Master Chief because he's a fugitive and the fucking Navy claiming he's dead to the public and shit like that. It's curious.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, we should probably wrap up this episode.
Yeah, we've rambled a bit for a while.
Yeah, but we need to. It's been a while since we recorded, but we got big things coming.
That's true.
Too much.
Yeah, normally there would have been a show this week, but like a regular Nethercast. But we decided that we're going to record it next week because it'll be our 100th show, and we'll release it in time for our 1-year anniversary. So everybody look forward to that.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit special, I think. Just by default, really, but I think we're going to try to do something special for it, too. Oh, I don't know for sure what that is yet, so I couldn't spoil it if I wanted to.
I have an idea. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, there is a leading plan. But again, no spoilers for that.
No.
Please get excited. And that's it. So good night, everybody.
Peace out, guys.
They played us like a damn fiddle!